Yesterday, it seems that there was a post shared on social media here in Australia talking about somebody took their car in for a service, a BYD, and one of the BYD workers, they took their car for a joyride. They basically took it for a joyride all over Melbourne, drove it for a couple of 100 kilometers, and then pretended as though they never did it, right? The owner, he actually had a tracker. And what they did is the person from BYD, they removed this dash cam feature that they have in the car in order to try and hide the fact that they were taking it for this joyride. Yeah. Take it for a joyride, a couple hundred Ks. The owner picks it up. He's like, what the? Actually, the owner tracks it and he realizes his car's driving all over Victoria, all over Melbourne. He calls BYD the next day, says, what the hell has happened to my car? Reports his car as being stolen by the police. He thinks his car's been stolen by the police. It hadn't. It was just someone at BYD, one of the employees, wanting to just drive it all over the place. So he goes back to BYD. He says, what the hell's going on? They're sort of not interested. This story happened on the same day that BYD revealed a brand new car here in Australia. Now, you'd think, right, brand new car, cause for excitement, should be a good thing. But BYD's new car launch today, on the same day that this social media story is kind of going viral, is a disaster because they've just revealed the 6-year old. I mean, by the time it comes out in early 2026, it will be literally 7-year-old car in the Australian market. And people are just totally just annihilating this thing. Now, I've got to say, I first looked at the photos, looked at some of the video of this car, and I went, hang on a minute, I'm pretty sure that's the BYD Song from 2019. Turns out I was right. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Interesting comments here. Now, Car Expert sometimes have some good reviews. Sometimes they have what are basically paid advertorials. And this isn't technically a paid advertorial, but it does appear to be one to me and to everyone in the comments. So, BYD have just reviewed, well, not really a review, a quick drive review of the Sealion 5. Right? It's a plug-in hybrid, just came to Australian market, new entry model, meant to be really cheap. Personally, I saw the photos and I thought, man, that's kind of cheap and ugly looking. I thought, style is not everyone agrees with me on the style of car. Some people think a car that I think looks bad, they think it looks good. Some people I think a car looks good, they think it looks bad. It's very subjective, but it seems as though everyone agrees that this thing looks really quite cheap. Even the writer of the article from Car Expert said the same thing. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. So here's what they had to say. This is the new BYD Sealion 5. Yet another new SUV in the Chinese auto brand's ever-growing lineup. By the way, they have 61 models now. The mid-size plug-in hybrid family crossover is looking to appeal to the budget-conscious and sits below the largest Sealion 6. It's landing in Australian showrooms and other countries as well in early next year. Yeah, but I think that in Europe, you guys are getting the newer model of this. We're getting the old model. I don't know why. Anyhow, it's about the same size as a Nissan X-Trail or a Mitsubishi Outlander. It's a 5-seat car and it has up to 100 kilometers of EV only range, right? Sounds good, yeah. Price point is going to be about 22,000 US dollars, so 35,000 Australian dollars. Could be the cheapest plug-in hybrid in Australia, maybe, but there's some other models coming from other brands as well, so probably not. But anyway, it's going to get a 13 kilowatt hour battery in the base model, so very, very small, and an 18 kilowatt hour battery in the longer range premium version. 18 kilowatt battery is still pretty small. I don't know about getting 100 kilometers of EV only range from an 18 kilowatt hour battery. I mean, that's pushing the realms of probability. Anyway, the authors are saying, right, this will be a rival to the Chery Tiggo 7 Super Hybrid. Not a particularly great car. And the Geely Starray EMI, which costs $37,500. The Geely Starray EMI is pretty good for that price, I've got to say. So what is it like on the inside? In my opinion, looks pretty budget. Similar steering wheel, to be honest, to what you get in the Sealion 7. Looks the same. So yeah, there's some similarities in terms of the design across BYD cars. They often have that kind of curvy, swooping looking thing going on. I don't like the curvy, swoopy thing that BYD does on the interior of their cars. I never did. When I bought a BYD 803, I didn't like the interior. I don't think anyone liked the interior of the BYD 803 then. But you know, they've improved. They've certainly become a bit more premium, but still not really the kind of design I personally prefer. But it doesn't look too bad, if I'm honest with you. Anyway, touchscreen, 12.8 inches, so a bit smaller than some other options, but anyway, it's enough. 8.8-inch digital instrument cluster, power front seats, wireless phone charger, and 360-degree cameras. It's got a panoramic roof, which is good. I mean, a lot of EVs have the glass roof, and that's going to make it feel a bit more spacious on the inside. Storage is okay. I think it's got just under 400 liters of storage, so that's not too bad for this type of car. And because this is kind of a boxy shaped car, you're going to get more interior space than you'd think. Now, guys, I've just done the research. It's actually a 463 litre boot. That's pretty good. It's not huge, but it's not too bad. If you put the rear seats down, it's 1,410 litres, right? Not too bad. Now, dimensions of this car, 4,740 millimetres long. So it's just a little bit smaller than a Tesla Model Y. Now, you'd think at this kind of size, you'd probably have a bigger boot space than that. Now, to be honest, yeah, that size boot, 463 litres, it's okay, but it is a little on the small size for the size of this car. This is like I said, it's about the size of an Xpeng G6. It's tiny bit small, but very similar size. And the G6 has 570 litres of boot space. Anyway, powertrain, 1.5 litre plug-in hybrid. Like I said, two battery sizes. The engine is a 1.5 litre four-cylinder, and it has 72 kilowatt of power, which is about 95 horsepower and 122 newton meters of torque. Electric motor, 145 kilowatt plus 300 newton meters, meaning total system power is 156 kilowatt, about 200 horsepower. Not too bad. It's front wheel drive, not great. It's 1,724 kilos, so about 3,600 pounds or 3,700 pounds in the standard range version. The longer range version, 1,785 kilos, which is, yeah, about just under 4,000 pounds. I think the weight's not too bad. Now, electric driving range of 100 kilometers, it's not actually real because that's NEDC. That's almost like CLTC. You know, EPA driving range is probably going to be closer to about 45 miles. So probably about 70 kilometers of EV only driving range. Now, when the battery is depleted, apparently the vehicle will do 4.5 to 4.6 litres per 100 kilometres. Sounds optimistic, but anyway, 4.5 litres per 100 kilometres, if that's true, seems pretty good. 0 to 100 is not all that quick. It's about 8 seconds. So, I mean, it's not too bad. I don't really see a big problem with 8 seconds, 0 to 100, but it's certainly not a performance car. It's not meant for that. So here's what the ride and handling was like. Here's what the journalist said. The ride and handling track has some patchy surfaces and stuff like simulated train tracks and sine waves, which were a good test. The Sealion 5's soft tune isolated bumps relatively well, but conversely meant it felt wallowy and loose, particularly over the sine waves at 120 to 130 kilometers an hour. He also says the sound deadening isn't very good over coarse road surfaces with noticeable tire and wind noise on the handling course. For a cheap SUV, that's not a deal breaker, but it's worthy of mention. The warranty is the same as pretty much every other BYD, 6 years, 150,000 kilometers. There are a few exceptions to that rule though, which you'll find out if you look in the warranty book. Also, the battery warranty is 8 years, 160,000 kilometers. So car experts said this, right? It's a bit early to make a definitive call, but this will be able to bring the Sealion 5 for the if they're able to bring it in for the price of an entry-level Japanese or Korean rival, it'll be a real disruptor. The sales figures and consumer research doesn't lie. Now more than ever, Australian new car buyers are very open to trying new powertrain tech, as well as new makes and models, including Chinese challenges. With the price being a big factor, this could outsell other vehicles in Australia, they're saying. But they conclude with this kind of not particularly comforting phrase. After all, this is the kind of car that needs to just work and to be affordable to run, so limited razzle dazzle is just fine. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Now, here's the comment, the most popular comment. dated already. This is a huge step back from BYD, in my opinion. Do they really not have anything fresher in this segment to bring over here? So here's the thing, as someone else pointed out, this is the Sealion Pro. Oh, sorry, this is the Song Pro, and this model came out in 2019. So this is a pretty old vehicle. Now, someone else said this absolutely hideous styling looks like Cherry or Moto or MG that suffered a stroke. After all, this is the kind of car that just needs to work and be affordable to run, so limited razzle dazzle is just fine. Probably good to set expectations low with this one. At least BYD service centers will be less inclined to joyride something like this. Now, that's a good point. You take your car in for a service, it's less likely the service person is going to drive your car around Melbourne for hundreds of kilometers because this thing wouldn't be all that fun to do it in. And someone else said this, it looks old outside. And Tim responded with, yes, it's a 5-year-old design, which is a shame. It's actually not. It's from 2019. By the time it comes out in 2026, it'll actually be a 7-year-old design. Another comment, looks incredibly dated. The 2023 and 2024 facelifts look much better. Why are BYD so slow to bring updated models here? And another comment here, guys. Weird choice. Seems like a poor look for the brand to release this dowdy old thing over the new version or the other EV Sealion 05. Guys, the comments were just scathing. Another one, as said multiple times, this is so ugly and dated looking, feels a misstep from BYD and doesn't fit their lineup with this old ugly face. When I first saw dealer listings appear, I actually thought they'd mistakenly used pics of an old pre-facelift model, but nope, they were sadly correct. Guys, there's some even worse comments. I mean, I'll just share with you one of them. This BYD piece of shit, it will be their equivalent of the crap TV. They're talking about an old car in Australia that people thought was poorly built. I wouldn't take this over an 8-year-old Toyota CHR or Honda HRV, let alone the current generations. From the looks of things, big disappointment from BYD. So guys, yeah, BYD have some great cars. But they've also got some clunkers, and I think this is one of the clunkers. I don't think BYD should sell this either. I'm not really sure why they are. Maybe it's the kind of car they can make a lot of money selling, right? An old vehicle, and a lot of people might not know it's old, might not know it's 6 years old. They might just think, oh, look, okay, plug-in hybrid, it's cheap. Oh, it's a few thousand cheaper than rivals. Let's get this. My suggestion would be, if you're going to buy a car and spend that kind of money, really do your research. Facebook is not the place to do your research. On Facebook, there's a lot of nonsense, to be honest. So best place to do your research is really online. You know, you can find information, articles and websites and YouTube, of course, as well. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.